boys, UFC 302 just finished. I have every single winners on this card. There's only a few losers because let's be honest, this card was pretty ass and we don't really care that much about the losers on this side. But yeah, going back to this card was, Dana had some highway robbery during this card. This has to be one of the worst pay-per-views that we've had this year, to be honest. It's so sad when the main event has to save the card, but that's literally what happened. Islam Makhachev, Dustin Poirier are the reason why this card was somewhat entertaining. But regardless of all that, let's quickly run through every single fighter who I think they should fight next. Starting with the opener, Lima. He got the decision win over Mitch Raposo, and not only was this card just very lackluster, the judging in this card, the refereeing in this card, all over just honestly just a terrible fight card. The fact that someone gave Mitch 2 rounds is insane when, in my opinion, Lima dominated every single round. But regardless of that, Lima 2-0 in the UFC. He's now 9-0. Let's give him a little bit of a jump up in test in CJ Vergara. I think this would be a very fun and entertaining fight, but let's keep moving on really quickly. Ailin Perez got the decision win over Jocelyn Edwards. Fun matchup. Everyone on Twitter was going crazy. They love this matchup, but let's match her up a little bit higher up the rankings. Nothing too crazy. I know she was calling out Kayla Harrison, but calm down a little bit. We're not gonna push you to Kayla Harrison just yet. Give her a little bit higher up the competition. Melissa Mullins. I think Ailin Perez is going to be one of these fighters that the UFC wants to push up and make some sort of star in the women's division. So give her someone like a Melissa Mullins. I think she'd be able to beat Melissa Mullins fairly easily. And yeah, moving up to the main event of the early prelims, we have Bassil Hafez taking on Mickey Gall. And yeah, this is a fun fight, back and forth. Bassil got the decision win, so let's give him someone a little bit higher up the rankings. In reality, he hasn't looked all that impressive. And I'm almost 100% sure this man was on the sauce coming into that JDM fight, because he looked completely, just how cut he was compared to the JDM fight, completely night and day difference. So I'm sure he's hopping off the stuff right now. But regardless of that, let's give him Gabriel Green, a good jump up in the rankings. And yeah, I don't know how good this guy really is, to be honest, especially now because it looks like he's coming off the sauce. So I don't know how well he'll do, to be honest. I was hyping this guy up and thinking he was going to do some crazy things in this division, but honestly, I don't think that anymore. Let's keep moving on to the prelims now. Jake Matthews got that decision win over Phil Rowe, the upset win. This fight, it was back and forth, To be honest, a lot of these fights I was half paying attention to because they're that bad, but regardless, Jake Matthews got the upset win. Let's match him up against someone like a Carlson Harris. Jake Matthews has proven time and time again that he can still compete in the lower rankings. So let's give him a slight jump up in competition, see how well he does there. And yeah, I'm happy for Jake Matthews. I'm a Jake Matthews fan, so happy that he got it done. But hopefully he can keep this streak going. With that being said, Grant Dawson got that decision win over Joe Selecki. Now, we're not giving Grant Dawson a huge jump up in competition. No, we already did that with Bobby Green. And to be honest, Grant Dawson is just not the most entertaining fighter to watch, in my opinion at least. So instead of jumping him up super high into the division, let's give him someone, I think 1 or 2 spots ahead of him right now. Let's give him Diego Ferreira. Ferreira looking really good in his last few fights. And yeah, to be honest, I don't want to see Grant Dawson get anywhere near the top 15. So let's give him Diego Ferreira. To be honest, I can see Ferreira winning this fight. With that being said, moving up to Jailton Almeida getting that first round submission over Alexander Romanov. Are we surprised at all? No, this was pretty much the lock of the card. And as much as I don't want to do this, but Jailton Almeida does usually finish his fights. Yes, he has a boring fight style, but at the end of the day, he's finishing fights. Called out Cyril Gane. Let's give him Cyril Gane. As much as I don't want Jailton Almeida anywhere near the top 5, top 10, top anything, so he doesn't have a chance to be a champion, because to be honest, might be one of the most boring champions that we would have if he was champion. But regardless, Jailton Almeida, Cyril Gane, time to punish Cyril Gane for constantly turning down all these fights. And to be honest, at this point, I don't know who I hate more, Cyril Gane or Jailton Almeida. Personality wise, I hate Cyril Gane. Fight style wise, hate Jailton Almeida. So it's a perfect combination of just hating both of these fighters. But that being said, the main event in the prelims, we had Cesar Almeida taking on Roman Kopylov. And could you imagine ever picking Cesar Almeida to win this fight? But regardless, totally I didn't pick Cesar Almeida to get this done in the first round. But Roman Kopylov got it done. I don't want to be pushing Roman Kopylov too high up the rankings, so I think the perfect next step up is going to be someone like a Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva, I believe his last fight was against Chris Weidman, looking really good in that fight, so let's see Roman Kopylov, Bruno Silva next. We don't want to be jumping Roman Kopylov too high up the rankings at this point. Let's let him have a few more wins, then we can talk about giving him someone higher up the rankings. But right now, Bruno Silva, Roman Kopylov, fight that could be made, relatively fast. Bruno Silva is probably ready to fight anytime now. Roman Kopylov, yes, he just came off a 3-round fight, but really didn't take that much damage. So honestly, these guys could be fighting relatively soon. Maybe not 305, maybe 306, something around there. Or even a fight night, I wouldn't be mad at that. But let's move over to the pay-per-view. One of the worst pay-per-views we've seen in a hot minute, I'm not gonna lie. Especially the main card. The opener of the main card, Randy Brown versus Dos Santos, It was an okay fight. Nothing groundbreaking or anything, but the fact that it was on a pay-per-view, craziness. But regardless, Randy Brown called out Neil Magny. I love it when they call out their opponent, so let's give him Neil Magny. And not only that, I think this would be a really fun fight style to watch. I think this would be a very entertaining fight, but that being said, one of the fights that I have no idea why this was on the main event, Niko Price gained that decision win versus Alex Morono, and Morono looked terrible out there. Like, I think it was because he was short notice, but regardless, he looked absolutely terrible. Realistically, both of these guys should retire, but I don't think that's going to happen. To be honest, I've seen more entertaining fights on like street beefs than this fight here. Very, very boring. I want to see Niko Price versus Tim Means next. Niko Price is not going to be fighting any of these top level guys in this division. Give him someone like a Tim Means who still has it, but who's also on the older side. But moving on, Kevin Holland got that first round submission over Michelle, and I did predict, his ground game, don't mess with Kevin's ground game because it is super underrated, but broke that man's arm. He was even talking to him saying if he doesn't tap, he's going to break it, and man was too hard-headed, broke that man's arm. And now instead of just tapping, man's gonna have to wait. I don't even know how long it takes to recover after a broken arm. But yeah, do I see anything wrong with that stoppage? I think it was the right call, to be honest. I think it was the right call. If it's broken, the ref's job is to protect you out there, and, breaking your arm, that's just gonna cause more damage in the future if you continue fighting with that. Yes, I know it's been done before, but regardless, with that being said, I want to see if Kevin Holland has improved at all. We know that his stand-up is really good. I want to see if he's improved on the ground game, because in my opinion, it looks like he has, but we need to see it in action. I don't want to push him too high up the rankings either, so let's give him Kevin Holland, Sean Brady next. I think that'd be a fun matchup. I think Kevin Holland could get it done over Sean Brady. I think Kevin Holland has been low-key improving throughout his career, to be honest. The ground game has been looking way better as of recently, but with that being said, moving into the co-main event of the evening, we had Paulo Costa taking on Sean Strickland. And going into round 3, I was saying, if I was Sean Strickland, I would be very scared going to the judges' scorecard, considering how terrible they've been throughout the night. And round 4 passed, round 5 passed, and I was like, I got a bad feeling they're gonna rig this shit for Paulo Costa. The first card gets read, and I believe it was like 4-1 for Paulo Costa, and I'm like, yep. I knew it. They're rigging it for Paulo Costa. I don't know how the hell anyone could judge that fight for Paulo Costa. It was the exact same judge who was judging the Andre Lima fight. The exact same guy. So someone has to have some sort of investigation on that guy. And I swear, the judges are one of the biggest issues we have in this sport. It was terrible to see, but regardless, Sean Strickland did a masterclass on Paulo Costa. I think I'm done falling for Sean Strickland. Pre-fight talk is always to the death. I'm gonna kill you, blah, 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 blah. Then we go into the fight, and it's 99% of the time a boring fight. But regardless, he got it done. He's getting a title shot next, I think. At first, I was like, they're not going to give Sean Strickland a title shot right away. But, Sean Strickland, he said he's waiting out till he gets his title shot now. So I think that's why he's going to get the title shot. I think if Sean Strickland said he's going to keep fighting until they give him a title shot, he would have had to fought 2 more times probably. But that being said, Dricus is fighting Izzy probably in the Perth card. I think Izzy's getting it done. It's so dumb, but you can't tell me it's already written in stones that Izzy's just going to knock out Dricus in the first round. I hate to say it, that's probably what's going to happen. Let's keep moving on. Paulo Costa, I was heavily debating doing Michel Pereira versus Paulo Costa, but at the end of the day, Paulo Costa, I think, is a pretty big asset for the UFC. I don't think they want to match those guys up specifically because then, you're eliminating one of them, They want to build both of them up. I think they still want to build up Paulo Costa, but, he's lost. I think it's like 3 in a row, 2 in a row. He's on a losing streak regardless. It's time to give him someone below the ranking. I'm still going to give him someone inside the rankings, but I think this is a fantastic fight for Paulo Costa. I think he could finally get this one done and bounce back, start a winning streak. That man's going to be Jack Hermansson. I think he can get it done over Jack Hermansson. Hermansson, I believe, also on a losing streak. I could be wrong about that, but I believe he's on a losing streak, or he just won and he just bounced back off a losing streak. Regardless of that, Paulo Costa, Jack Hermansson, I think that would be a fantastic fight. But we have the main event now. It is what it is. I was feeling it throughout the fight. Back of my mind, every time Poirier was having success, I could just hear Rihanna singing in my ear. But it is what it is. 5th round submission, but regardless of that, amazing fight. If he does decide to hang it up, I wouldn't be mad about that. If I had to guess if he's fighting one more time, I'm gonna say yeah. I think he's gonna fight one more time. And in all the interviews he did, he wasn't sad Poirier. We've seen super sad, depressed Poirier. He wasn't super sad, depressed Poirier. I think something in his head switched that he realized, he can still become the champion. He's one fight away from fighting for the belt. This guy also one fight away from fighting to the belt. Both coming off losses. Both of them coming off finishes. They fought each other twice. Let's do the trilogy match. Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje. Winner gets the title shot. Loser retires. I think that's the perfect thing for Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje right now. They're 1-1 right now, both finishing each other. Perfect matchup. It's either Justin Gaethje or I think Poirier might be done, to be honest. But with that being said, we have the winner, Islam Makhachev, calling out Leon Edwards. He wants that double champ status, I love giving people what they call for, but you gotta slow down right now, little bro. You still have Arman Tsarukyan to get past. I know you already beat him, and I know you hate rematches, but this is a different Arman. Do I think Islam's gonna still win? Yeah, I think Islam's gonna knock out Arman, to be honest. But, we need to chill out for a little bit. You have one more guy to fight at lightweight. Literally one more guy. You pretty much clear out the division at that point. At least clear out all the guys who are deserving of a title shot. After that, Islam Makhachev versus whoever's 170 champ is going to be next. But right now, he still has Arman to get past. And yeah, that's every single guy I have matched up. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this? What did you guys think of 302? Again, one of the worst cards in my opinion this year. It was very lackluster, to be honest. There are so many fights that I was half watching because they're that bad. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching to the end of the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications so you never miss any of my newest videos. And yeah, there's really not that much else left to say except for I will see you guys in my next video.